This is a special presentation from News Channel Nebraska.
And welcome to Veterans Memorial Field in Norfolk, Nebraska. We have youth baseball coming your way on a hot Monday afternoon. Brandon Axmit, Saul Soltero with you for all of the action this evening, brought to you by Trade Winds. For landowners interested in hosting a wind turbine, this doesn't mean giving up a lot of land. A wind turbine and its access drive will only occupy about 1/2 of an acre, leaving the rest of the land usable for world-class Northeast Nebraska farming. Learn more online at tradewindenergy.com. Well, Saul, we're very excited for this one because we have some local baseball standouts comprised of the Northeast Thunder hosting international talent here by the WBS Colts. That stands for the World Baseball Showcase Colts. And running down the list of where these players are from: Qatar, Canada, Dubai, Australia, Guam, all here in Norfolk for a doubleheader. First off, we have the 13-year-olds. Second game will be 14-year-olds. This certainly is an exciting time to watch some baseball.
I'm really excited to be here. What a great facility Norfolk has here. I got to spend some time with the WBS Colts there, and they have been on tour for a while. They're excited to be here. They ran a practice a little bit earlier, and I got to see some of the kids and spend some time with Steve Fish, their manager, and they're kind of their guy that runs things for that club. But it's an exciting time. I know both sides are very excited to be out there. I know the Norfolk kids are really excited, and of course these other kids have been traveling internationally, so it's going to be a good time.
Going to be starting things off at 6 o'clock. First pitch for the 13-year-olds. Jeff Hoffman, the coach for the Northeast Thunder. Steve Fish leads the effort here for the WBS Colts, and he has a major league background. He's a scout for the Red Sox in the MLB, but his territories are sort of in the eastern areas, the Philippines, Australia, all over on that side of the globe. So he gets a chance in the summers to bring talent to the United States. They tour, they play 17 games, or 16 games in 17 days. This team landed in LA. They're on their way to New York, and they're playing baseball every day on the way.
It's really an unbelievable concept where baseball has evolved to, and I know these kids are coming from a long ways away. The parents are here as well. They've got a little bit of tiredness in their eyes, but there's some nervous energy, and they're very excited to be playing baseball in the United States.
Well, here we go. The wait is over. And the WBS Colts are going to start at the plate. I'd like to remind you that Norfolk GM Auto brought you that pregame show, which is now wrapped up. Northeast Nebraska's volume leader, where you'll find one low price, plain and simple always. Norfolk GM Auto Center. We are underway here. Leading things off for the WBS Colts, Jaden Lee, as that one is in the dirt.
It's interesting to see the American influence on the way the hitters and the fielders are fielding the ball, and very much Americanized in the way their techniques are.
That one also low and outside. Dylan Froberg on the mound for the 13-year-old Northeast Thunder. Froberg, a Norfolk product here. Here comes the 3-0. So 4 straight balls. Discipline at the plate there for Jaden Lee, and the leadoff man is on.
One of the things, certainly Dylan, young Dylan, I've got an opportunity to work with him over the years, and he gets stronger as the game goes on. I expect him to do good things out there. Certainly did not want to start this off with a leadoff walk.
Christian Agnew, hometown Doha, Qatar, batting in the 2-hole. Swing and a miss. There's the first strike of the ballgame.
I can honestly say this is the first ever baseball player I've ever seen from Qatar. It's really cool to watch.
Well, it won't be the last, because there's a couple Qatar players on this WBS Showcase Colts team. Pick back over to first. Yeah, Froberg pitching, Trent Euler catching. Jacob Culligan at third, Easton Sullivan at second, as there's another swing and a miss. Runner back to the bag. Third base, Connor Hoffman for the 13-year-old Northeast Thunder. Shortstop is Kevin Ramos. Then in the outfield, left to right, Caleb Richardson and Nate Decker in center. And right field for Norfolk. O2 delivery. That one inside, and we have a stolen base as well, actually.
I think the ball caught him on the backside of the leg there. A tough young guy. You don't come all the way from Dubois to lay down and take the day off, so he's taking first base, and it's good to see.
Rub some dirt on it here, so no outs. Runners on first and second. Kobe Chesterton stepping to the plate, and that is a big 13-year-old.
Definitely. I think Kobe goes about 6'1" for a 13-year-old. I don't care what country you're from. That's a big kid.
Hails from the land down under Canberra, Australia. Big cut there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Froberg, the 1-1 delivery. That was in there, strike 2. Tries to get Chesterton to chase low and outside. No luck there.
Inside.
Just like that, we have a full
Brings
count.
Down to 3-2.
Yeah, young Dylan's having a little bit of trouble
Chesterton.
finding the zone, and it's early. I was watching him warm up. His stuff was good. I think he just might have some early game jitters.
And another free base.
Ball
Bases
four.
are loaded here, no down. And you have your
Up
full
to bat,
hold,
Gavin
rather, and
Burnett.
Ben Walmsley stepping up.
Well, if that's not where he wanted to be, he's there now. Their pitching coach is running out to maybe
Sullivan
just slow him
takes the
down a
job
little
in
bit.
line.
You know, just kind of talk about the moment a little bit. It's give him take a deep breath, maybe cut into the momentum a little bit that the hitters are finding
Correction, up to
themselves
bat
in,
is Ben
and
Woolsey.
get back on track here. He's 1 pitch away from a double play ball, and this whole inning can change here. So I know he's got himself into some trouble, but he's 1 pitch away from at least getting on the right side of it.
He'll be facing another Australian at the plate in Walmsley from Brisbane.
The Brisbane Bandits, one of my stops along the minor league trail was one winter in Brisbane, Australia. Just a beautiful area there.
Gonna say it was a tough coming back.
I'm still there, and with my heart is still.
All right, well, a big challenge here for Dylan Froberg here in the top of the first. That one in the dirt. Nice job by catcher Euler to keep in front of that one.
There's so much room at this ballpark, and this is, I believe the college team plays here, the Northeast Nebraska Hawks. So it's a huge field, and I think Dylan would trust his fielders a little bit. Let him put the ball in play, see what happens.
Big cut. This isn't foul territory.
Foul ball out of play. Reminder that every foul ball brought to the press box is worth $1 at Burger King.
It's something I think the young pitchers don't do enough of, is pitching to contact and letting them ball go in play and seeing if your fielders can get an out for you. Might save you some pitches.
Went with the off speed there, didn't quite come down.
Count sets at 2-1.
2-1 delivery high and inside. This is not a fun situation for Froberg to be in here because Walmsley knows that he has to throw it in the zone, otherwise it's scoring a run. Another base on balls, and the Colts get on the board here.
Ben.
This is about the toughest situation you could start your game with.
Gavin
The
Clement.
kid's struggling. You know you're going to have to piece together your pitching because it's so late in the season, and some of these kids haven't played ball for the last couple of weeks. So certainly Dylan is on a pitch count, and he certainly didn't want to use them all in the first inning. It looks like Northeast is going to make a pitching change.
Well, during the change, we'd like to remind you that it's time to enjoy the game as we have a doubleheader coming up for you all evening. This message brought to you by United Healthcare. So also, we'll take a break here while we have the pitching change. 1-0. WBS Colts on top of the Northeast Thunder here in the top of the first.
Getting ready for another edition of Friday Night Football here, another high school game in the area. So it's time to talk to somebody who knows a thing or two about injuries and seeing injuries. We're talking to Jenny Ashoff, certified athletic trainer with Faith Regional Health Services. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
You betcha. Now, sprains and strains used interchangeably to describe everything from a twisted ankle to a pulled hamstring. What are some of those very two specific injuries? How do we differentiate?
A sprain is a tear or stretch or tear of a ligament, and ligament is a fibrous tissue that connects a bone to a bone in our bodies, especially in our joints. And a strain is a stretch or tear, but it's more specific to a muscle or a tendon, and tendons are what attach our muscles to our bones.
What exactly are some of the symptoms of a strain? How does that happen?
Again, a strain, is a stretch or pull of a muscle. So we see that a lot in sports with athletes, especially with contact sports or quick repetitive sports where they're doing a lot of the same actions over and over again. Their muscles get fatigued or they're overstretched or over exerted, which can cause that strain to happen in that muscle.
So when we're talking about those specific injuries, what are some of the symptoms that pop up? If you just have maybe a little pain somewhere, maybe you see some swelling or some other kind of symptoms, what are those exactly?
As you mentioned, pain and swelling are, the more common injury or more common symptoms that we hear. But we also, one of the biggest ones we hear, or that we even ask people, did you hear a pop? Or they might even say, I felt a pop.
Certainly. So if you don't always hear a pop or you hear, something else that maybe goes wrong, when should you see a doctor or a healthcare professional?
First and foremost, no injury is ever the same. Someone might have done the same thing, but from injury to injury or even time to time, it's going to differ as far as their symptoms. I've seen athletes before that have sprained an ankle numerous times throughout the season, and each time they've been completely different because it depends on the mechanism of that injury and what areas of the area were injured. So basically,
And welcome back here. We are coming out of the pitching change break, and now Jacob Culligan on the mound, and he is in a tough situation here. No down, bases loaded. And had the runner leaning the wrong way, the pick just unable to be executed.
Safe.
At the plate, having spent some time today at practice with Steve Fish, the manager and coach of the Colts, this Gavin Kiner is his best player. He likes his bat, he likes his speed, he likes his athleticism. So this is a great place for him to hit.
Leadoff strike there.
Talk just a little bit about Coach Fish. He's also national scout with the Boston Red Sox. And believe it or not, we got to talking today about young Gavin Kinnett here, and he said that he's already turned him in as a potential professional prospect. So 13U, you never know.
Certainly doesn't hurt to have that connection, though, to an MLB scout as a youngster as well, if that's what you're aspiring to do.
All these guys, they come to these programs, and the whole intention of the Colts program is to get the kids into the United States colleges. And last year, his 18U team placed 6 kids at the Division I level in the United States. So very good numbers.
Monster cut there by Clenert. One-two count here.
Umpires look like they might have lost track of the count or potentially thought there might have been some catcher interference. I'm not sure. I missed the whole exchange there.
And Clenert, another one of these players from Qatar. So there's player number 2 you've covered
Unbelievable.
from Qatar.
It's pretty safe to say I've heard of it. I'm not exactly sure where it is.
Well, me being a big soccer fan,
Is that right?
World Cup is going to be there in
Well,
a
there you
few
go.
years, so
Cool.
I can tell you it's very hot over there.
I would assume so.
Middle East country. 2-2 delivery. That one low and outside.
It's funny you should mention that. I was talking to one of the parents this morning, and they are from Dubai. And apparently they got off the plane in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles was having their heat wave, and the temperature was 100 degrees, and he says, well, it's 18 degrees cooler than back home.
Oh, that's something when, 100 degrees is cool.
He said the kids love the break in the temperature. I'm not sure what to make of that.
There's the delivery on the full count, fouled away.
Count remains full, 3-2.
Well, Jake come in throwing strikes, and that's a plus here. I know Dylan, his intention was not to load the bases, but certainly Jacob come in throwing strikes, challenging hitters, and potentially letting his fielders help him.
Off speed paints the corner. And that is a big strikeout for out number 1.
Jacob Colvin comes into the game, throws the first out. Up to bat, Zakiah Bathgate.
Zakiah Bathgate now at the plate.
WBS Colts.
Again, of course, Thunder not out of danger yet, but that is a little bit of a morale booster. You bring a pitcher in and he goes right after his first batter he faces.
Certainly doesn't hurt anything. Nice double play ball here would get the Northeast out of the inning here.
First pitch in there for us, strike.
There he goes again, painting the outside.
You know, I'm not sure that he's throwing off speed as much as he's just kind of changing speeds with his fastball, because everything looks pretty straight from up here, but he's certainly painting the corners and moving the ball around. It seems to be effective as of this point.
That went a little high. The batter he's facing, Zakiah Bathgate from Perth, Australia. One nothing your score on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard. As we're watching youth baseball here on News Channel Nebraska.
Tell you, we weren't sure what the night would bring, but it turned out to be a beautiful evening here in Norfolk.
And for those just joining, we have this 13-year-old game, and we have the doubleheader, which will be capped off with the 14-year-olds to follow.
Pitch makes the count go to 2-1. On the second baseman for WBS Colts, Bathgate.
2 balls, 1 strike. It's another thing, too, that these batters at the plate for the Colts, they're not swinging at anything that's not in the strike zone. Very, very disciplined.
They are. My take so far would be that the Northeast pitchers are, when they miss, they really miss. I mean, the ball is up around. I know young Dylan, he was all over the place here, but they're certainly going to get themselves in a jam if they're pitching behind in the count for the majority of the time, especially with the bases loaded.
And that will make it a full count.
Loads it up to 3-2.
Colligan looking for his second strikeout. It'd be a big one.
Not sure the ball has been put in play yet, am I wrong?
You are not.
Closest thing we got was a foul ball down the right field line. That changes.
And that'll be an RBI single for the WBS Colts as Agnew comes across. Patience shown by Bathgate, who gets the run knocked in.
You know, at any level, you fall behind in the count, you have to throw the pitch, you have to throw it for a strike. The hitters, you put the bat in their hand, you make them a good hitter by knowing that if it's not in the zone, it's not their pitch, and that's basically what happened there. He didn't hit it hard by any means, but he hit it where there wasn't anybody defending, so well done.
Keen Daly at the plate. Bases loaded, one down. Daly also from Qatar. This one down the first baseline. And good defensive play there to get out number 2 by Gavin Gramquist.
Well done, a good bit of hitting. You got guys in scoring position, put the ball in play, took it to the right side, and scored a run. That was certainly well done, and they'll take the run for the out there early in the game.
And that was Kobe Chesterton who came around to score.
First pitch, a ball to the right fielder for
Now Jacob Essick at the plate. Essick from Dubai.
Boy, they must have recruited that Dubai pretty strongly. They got a few kids from there.
Swing and a miss, strike 1.
You get a situation, and I was talking to Coach Fish about this, where these kids get to participate in a program where he says the baseball, obviously, in those countries is a little bit behind. And so they come to these showcases, and they get taught the fundamentals. And he says part of the teaching is just the basics, getting the kids out, getting lots of repetitions.
Certainly 16 games in 17 days while traveling cross country. That certainly is the definition of getting the reps in.
It's amazing. I mean, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Utah, Colorado, Nebraska, Chicago, Detroit, New York. What a schedule.
And there is strike 3 as Culligan rings up Essick. So 3 runs score on 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on base. The WBS Colts lead by 3 as we head to the bottom of the first.
At Cornhusker Nissan, bragging is not our style, but that doesn't mean our customers can't.
Everyone was friendly, no high pressure, was open to my needs as to what was really best for me.
Professional, kind, polite, altogether perfect.
Great customer care before and after the sale.
Great price and awesome car buying experience. Wish all dealerships treated customers like Cornhusker Nissan in Norfolk, Nebraska.
Let us make your visit a memorable one at Cornhusker Nissan.
With the challenges our nation faces as the consumption of gasoline increases, the strategic location of Husker Ag allows this ethanol plant to produce nearly 80 million gallons a year, which requires almost 30 bushels of corn a year. Access to rail distribution and centered in a productive growing area east of Plainview on Highway 20, Husker Ag creates jobs, has on-farm pickup of corn, and supports area schools and organizations. Husker Ag LLC, helping communities grow and proud to be part of Nebraska's production of ethanol.
Determination, hard work, patience, and persistence. These are characteristics that make a champion. These same characteristics make a great Nebraskan.
Midwest Bank proudly supports and congratulates the athletes that have accomplished the honor to compete in the state track meet.
We are also there for the Nebraskans that have fought the flood, cleaned up after the devastation, and answered the call when others were in need.
Communities coming together.
Athletes giving it all.
That is Nebraska strong.
You can always bank on Nebraskans.
And welcome back here to Norfolk, Nebraska. Bottom of the first here as the Northeast Thunder will have a crack at the plate. You're getting a look at head coach Steve Fish for the World Baseball Showcase Colts. And Saul, we talked about his scouting background and his territories being Australia, Guam, and over in the Eastern Asian Islands area. What I know you have MLB pedigree and played in the league. What kind of aspect do you have in terms of a scout? What goes into, how does he have time to even do this as he's also a scout for the Red Sox?
You know, I asked him the same question, and apparently that's part of the job, is to getting out and understanding and learning about these international players. If you've noticed, the Major League Baseball is no longer, it's a world sport anymore. So to have scouts in Dubai and everywhere basically in the world that somebody can play, they want to know who you are and what you can do. So I think it almost fits hand in hand in what he's doing. Is he's not only scouting, but he gets an opportunity to interact with the kids and kind of learn the idiosyncrasies of their game and what their strengths are. So I probably would say that that's probably what he's doing, and that's why the Red Sox are okay with him being, you know, the coaching at this level and working with the kids. And boy, what a gig. I mean, I tell you what, the guy spends his winters in Australia and his summers in the United States touring around, bringing kids around, and just a good guy. He's a baseball guy. And kind of on a side note, which brings this whole thing together, which baseball is such a funny sport and a world sport, but Steve Fish actually played for John Sanders at the University of Nebraska. And just crazy to even think that, a guy that's coaching internationally, running a team from Australia into town, played at the university right down the street.
Years 95 through 97, he said that, so he wanted to make an emphasis on this tour that starts in LA and ends in New York, that, hey, we're stopping in Nebraska and we're playing a game, and certainly a very cool story. He hails from Portland, Oregon originally.
It's a great story, and he knew everything about Nebraska's baseball storied past, and Coach Van Horn, Coach Anderson, right to Coach Bolt this year, and he was actually at the recent alumni gathering of the baseball program, so certainly is still connected to the University of Nebraska.
Well, leading things off for the Northeast Thunder, Carter Raymakers from Norfolk.
I'm not 100% sure we're going to get a lot of crooked letters in the kids from the Northeast here. We got Norfolk kids and few other places, but
this one put in play, high fly ball. That's out number one. Caught by Kevin Ramos.
What a thrill, to think that these kids are going to go back to school or whatever they're going back to, and some of the kids are going to say, what'd you do this summer? Well, I toured the United States in every sense of the word. They told me how they went up to the Continental Divide in northern Colorado and how they were just freezing because they were used to the 120 degrees in Dubois in Australia.
And nearly a web gem down the left or the third baseline, excuse me. But Easton Sullivan's going to get on base.
Well played all the way around. Nice hard hit ball. Almost had it on the dive, dropped it, but Easton had the sensibility to make the run down the line as fast as he could, and if he wouldn't have, he would not have beat that out because it was close.
Nate Decker, a Meadow Grove product, now at the plate. You have Christian Agnew pitching on the mound here for the Colts.
Young Christian Agnew. I got a chance to watch him warm up. Lots of fastballs. I think the Northeast Thunder team is going to get a lot of pitches to look at, a lot of pitches to hit. He does kind of have a little bit of a spinner, a little bit of a breaking ball that he kind of changes speeds with, but throws a lot of strikes. As you can tell, the ball's been put in play several times already, and he doesn't run the count. So he pitches to contact, and he pitches with what he has.
That one up the middle again. Chance for a double play. And there it is, 6-3. Kevin Ramos caught the fly ball, then does the unassisted double play to get out of the first inning. Another look at it here.
Well, room service ground ball, well played by the shortstop. I'm telling you, a pitcher's best friend. If you pitch to contact, let your fielders get involved in the game, good things are going to happen, and it shows right there.
So that ends the first inning. No runs, no hits, one error, nobody left on base. 3-zip Colts as we head to the second.
Need high-speed internet? Want the best in TV programming? There's no need to make countless calls to 1-800 numbers to get the services you want. Get both TV and internet with just one call to me, Wes, at Satellite Central. Everyone's needs are different, and we can help you find the best option for high-speed internet. And we've been providing TV programming from Dish and DirecTV for over 20 years. We have a local team of installers that you know and can trust. So make one call to us at Satellite Central.
Nebraska is prime country for farming corn, beans, and now wind energy. For landowners interested in hosting a wind turbine, this doesn't mean giving up a lot of land. A wind turbine and its access drive will only occupy about 1/2 of an acre, leaving the rest of the land usable for world-class Northeast Nebraska farming. That half-acre used to harvest the wind will also help educate school children and improve area roads with additional tax revenue. To learn more, email haystack@tradewindenergy.com. Sponsored by Tradewind Energy.
Need high-speed internet? Want the best in TV programming? There's no need to make countless calls to 1-800 numbers to get the services you want. Get both TV and internet with just one call to me, Wes, at Satellite Central. Everyone's needs are different, and we can help you find the best option for high-speed internet. And we've been providing TV programming from Dish and DirecTV for over 20 years. We have a local team of installers that you know and can trust. So make one call to us at Satellite Central.
And welcome back here to Norfolk. Brandon Axelmit, Saul Soltero here for all of the action on this doubleheader between the Northeast Thunder, your local team, taking on the World Baseball Showcase Colts. So far it's advantage Colts. Saul, you know, we saw the first inning. There was the first 4 runners actually were either walked or hit by pitch. So if you're the Northeast Thunder, you maybe feel even a little fortunate to only be down 3 at this point.
I would tend to agree with you. They put themselves in a huge hole, and they dug themselves out of it. It could have been a bigger inning than it was. Certainly 3 runs, or what we call in baseball crooked number to start the game, is what the opposition was looking to do here from Australia. But certainly 3-0 is not the worst, considering bases loaded, nobody out to start the inning.
Gracie starts off with 2-0.
And so we have Gracie Isles leading things off here for the World Baseball Showcase Colts.
And for the record, I think it's great. Gracie is playing with the boys. She's a baseball player. I watched her practice earlier. She doesn't take anything from anybody. She's as tough as the next one, and it shows. She's up there taking good swings. She's got a good stance, just broadening her baseball IQ, and I love it.
From Perth, Australia, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Fouls off.
Stays alive there.
Talking to Coach Fish, some of the things that he was hoping that his team could learn and get better at in the United States is he felt as if the game was just a little faster in the United States. He's worried about the kids' defensive moves. He's worried about their footwork, especially playing some of those teams in California. And I think they'll get a little bit of a taste of it tomorrow in Omaha with some of the higher level class teams there.
Isles goes down swinging. That's the 3rd strikeout here for Jacob Colligan, who came in the first inning. Ben Ray now at the plate. Swing and a miss.
I tell you something I noticed that I've never really seen before, and I don't know if it has an international flair. It's just what the youth baseball kids are doing these days. But the Colts will go to the other side of the field to take their warm-ups, which means they're taking their warm-up swings from the dugout side of where the Northeast team is. I have never seen that before, and they've done it to a man. They go and watch a couple pitches from each side. I'm not sure if they're looking at the pitcher's release or what they're trying to get out of it, but each guy has gone over to the other side to take a couple swings before he comes back to their dugout side to finish his warm-ups.
Well, I know what I'm asking Steve Fish after this broadcast. I want to know the answer behind that.
That's right. Certainly you can pick up something from everywhere. You know, these kids come to the United States to try to play a little bit higher level of ball, and we just might have learned something tonight that we never knew. So I'm anxious to hear the answer myself.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Ray. This one put in play. Shallow, and pulling up on that one is Raymakers. So that drops in for a base hit.
Again, a testament to both. You know, young Jacobs throwing strikes. Put the bat on the ball, put the ball in play. Good things are going to happen all the way around. So well done on all sides. The ball hung up there a little bit. I thought maybe the right fielder was going to get under it, but it dropped.
That brings Liam Isles to the plate. Another extra hitter here for the Colts. We talk about the reps and the importance of allowing every player to play, so not necessarily your standard rules to have 2 extra hitters, but certainly something that youth baseball, all about development, is totally fine for something like this.
I love it. It's a showcase. You know, you're a little bit flexible on what you're doing. These kids have come a long way. They didn't come to sit. They didn't come to watch the game. They plug in as many as they can. I love the concept.
One down here in the top of the 2nd. Well out outside, ball 2.
You know, it's just not the kids, and certainly they have such an international flair to them coming from all the different countries, but if you notice right in front of us, all the parents made the trip as well. Talking to some of the parents earlier, 80% of the kids are represented by their parents being here that are on the roster, so it's kind of a neat thing to come on vacation with your kids and watch some baseball.
I want to know what job you have where you can leave where you're working in the summer and be able to watch baseball for 2.5, 3 weeks in America. Sign me up for that.
That was the first question I asked, and most of them just shook their head and refused to answer, so I'm not exactly sure what the answer is, but you're right. What a gig.
Here comes the 2-2. This one put in play as well. Another base knock for the Colts, and this will be extra bases. Liam Isles, the EH, puts it in play, gets the double.
Another nice hit, right field.
I tell you what, the kids, the Colt kids are just putting the bat on the ball, and if you ever, it speaks volumes to their hitting approach, not trying to do too much with it, not pulling the ball, hitting the ball where it's pitched. Both of those hits came right over the second baseman's head, and base hits, got something going here with one out, man on second and third.
The WBS Colts.
And it's back to the top of the order. Jaden Lee, the leadoff batter, he was walked back in the top of the first. 2 ducks on the pond, as they say.
I think the nerves are good now. I think everybody's settled in. It looks like the game is starting to take on a little flow here, so let's see what happens.
Just outside, ball 2.
Count is 2-0 on center fielder Jaden Lee.
Oh, straight back.
I think you get a coupon for a snow cone if you get the foul ball around here. That was pretty close to us, my friend. If it comes close enough, we might have to cash it in.
We should have this window open so you can do the one-handed bare hand, get that on Twitter, go viral. SportsCenter Top 10.
You either end up on Twitter or on ridiculousness, and I don't want to take the chance. It's a fine line.
2 balls, 1 strike, 1 down here, top of the second. Make that 2 strikes.
Count goes to double deuce. 2-2 on center fielder Jaden Lee.
Lee at the plate, looking to make this a 5-0 ball game with a base hit. This one going to right field again, a little shallow, and nice job there because the first baseman battling the sun to make the catch. That was Gramquist.
Thought when it first left the bat, it might get over his head. It looked like it stopped about midway, and then, like you said, I think he lost it. So, nice play. Left the runner second and third. He got 2 outs now. See if he can make a pitch and leave him out there. Keep his team in the game.
Christian Agnew, the pitcher, now at the plate. Puts this one in play. Right back to the pitcher in Colligan for the 1-3 putout. So no runs on 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on base. It stays at 3-0. We'll be back with the bottom of the second.
I am Kelsey Kreinert, and I am a family nurse practitioner. I currently practice in the Faith Regional Physician Services Pierce Family Medicine Clinic. I care for the whole family, and I thoroughly enjoy family practice, but I do have special interests in women's healthcare and pediatrics. I believe that providing high-quality care often requires a team-based approach. We're very fortunate that Faith Regional has a wide network of specialists right here in Northeast Nebraska who are willing to lend their expertise and provide top-notch care for our patients right here at home. I would like patients to know that I will take the time to listen to their story. I will take the time to get to know them individually, and it is truly my honor to earn their trust and to have the privilege of providing care for them.
Hey, let's take a look at our Smile Cam, brought to you by Family First Dental, where your family comes first, and it shows everything they do. Check them out at familyfirstdental.com. Brendan Axmit, Saul Slatero with you. It's hard not to smile, Saul, when you have baseball here in the summer on a beautiful evening.
That's just a great way to wrap up the season for both these teams. You know, summer's coming to an end. Everybody's going to be back to school here very soon. So a beautiful facility, a nice crowd on hand. Where would you rather be?
The World Baseball Showcase, Colts with a 3-0 lead here over the Northeast Thunder. Gavin Gramquist is going to try to start to change that here as he leads off for the Thunder. Gramquist, another Norfolk player on this squad, which is the majority of players on this team. You have players from Meadow Grove, Grand Island, and Pierce as well.
Nice collection of local kids, local talent. I know they've played together a little bit. They picked up a couple kids. Like I said, it's toward the end of the summer. I think kids headed for vacation, headed for wherever they're going to do to wrap up their summer. So they certainly had to fill the roster spots, and they upgraded with a few kids that they got from different towns. But for the most part, the kids are local.
And that one doesn't go in play, so 1 ball, 1 strike.
Who's down to 1-1 on Gavin Granquist.
And Kobe Chesterton, the shortstop for the Colts, made all the plays last inning, caught the fly ball, and then turned to retire the side 1-2-3. Another foul ball here by Gramquist.
Very impressed with Mr. Agnew. Throws a lot of strikes. You know, he's not overmatching the hitters, but he's certainly littering the zone with fastballs, making the hitters commit to his pitch, pitching up in the count. All those good things that you certainly can take with you along the way.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a rip, and it gets through the infield.
Strong single up the left by Gavin Granquist brings up.
That's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Thunder, Saul. Lead-off single.
I agree with you, and you know, I think if the Northeast hitters would settle in and realize that Christian's throwing a lot of strikes, and they're going to get their pitch if they're patient and if they're aggressive at the plate when they see what they're looking for, they're certainly going to get something to hit.
Now Caleb Richardson at the plate, one of 2 players from Grand Island on this 13-year-old roster. This is trouble for the Thunder. And credit Richardson for legging that one out. The Colts get the lead runner at second.
Gavin is thrown out on a fielder's choice. Hit by Caleb Richardson. For out number 1 for the Norfolk Thunder brings up Connor Hoffman.
Again, Kobe Chesterton. He's a vacuum there at the shortstop position for the Colts.
You know, I think the ball looked like it was hit a little bit harder than it was, and I thought he sat back 1 second, and I think Coach Fish kind of came out and said, hey, come get that thing. We might have a chance there. I don't think double play could have been made there. It was hit just a little too slow, but it was well played, and they certainly got the lead out, and it's important to get an out no matter what.
C.J. Hoffman now at the plate. Another Norfolk product. Had a stolen base. Heads up base running there by Richardson.
It's funny that should happen, and talking to Coach Fish earlier, one of the things that he was concerned about in this whole trip through the United States was the speed of the game. I know today they were working on their first and third defense, their footwork, some of the things that they'd have to defend against, especially with some of these teams that can put the ball in play and run. And there's the first chance that Northeast had to run, and the catcher bobbled the ball, so certainly comes to fruition what he was talking about there.
That one straight back yet again.
Another foul ball out there. We've given away 2 whoppers so far. Hopefully not the same kid.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Luke's counting, apparently 3 whoppers.
There's the pick play.
Young
Richardson
Mr. Agnew, unfazed by the catcher not being able to throw that ball, came right back to work throwing strikes. He's been up in the count, if I'm not mistaken, just about every hitter he's faced tonight. So certainly doing a great job of getting up in the count and making his pitch when he needs to make it.
Goes right after him on the 0-2. And that's heads-up base running there by Richardson. You saw the little hesitation that he caused for the third baseman was enough to allow his buddy to make it to first.
Again, that's exactly what Fish was talking about. The ball starts moving around a little bit, things start happening on the paths, and the kids get a little bit confused. I thought he should have got the out right away. If that runner advanced, it advanced. If it was too far off, he might have thrown behind him, but as it was, you have to get an out. That was an easy play.
Uh-oh, now we have a situation here where everyone makes it back to their base safely. Agnew, though, with that tricky little move.
Yeah, he had the move, but he didn't have a follow to it. He should have got rid of the ball, at least to one of the infielders, so they could start the run down there. Nothing hurt for sure, but there was an out there, and I think they were willing to concede it. Now it looks like the umpire called a balk on the play, which I'm not exactly sure because I've seen the third to first. I'm just not sure.
The umpire called a balk. Advancing runners to second.
So word from the production truck that 3-1 move is no longer legal.
And see, I guess I didn't realize that because that's a staple of seeing if the guy's going to bunt, seeing if the guy's going to show his hand there. So maybe they're not. It hasn't been outlawed over there, but I guess apparently here it's a no-no.
And so because of that, Richardson comes home to score. Hoffman is now on second, and the Thunder are on the board here. Jacob Colligan at the plate.
I'd be curious to know why that was outlawed. I have absolutely no idea.
Grounder to third. Sliding in safely, so everyone's safe again.
On some aggressive base running by Connor Hoffman allows Jacob Colligan to reach first base safely. And that brings up to bat our catcher, Trent Euler.
So you're sort of starting to see it now. The Thunder putting the ball in play, and you talked about the speed and maybe just sort of the strategy of baseball over here that maybe the WBS Colts aren't used to seeing as much of.
It certainly seems like the Colts are in a good position to make the play. They're just a little bit hesitant to make it.
Had another good look at that replay, and certainly appeared that Hoffman made it back in time, so the right call. Everybody's safe. One down here in the bottom of the second. Trent Euler at the plate.
I know Trent. I've known Trent for a while. Trent is a big, strong kid. Swings a pretty heavy bat there. So I think if Mr. Agnew puts one in there, Trent's got the ability to hit the gap, and I've seen him hit the ball a ton. So it's a good combination of a kid throwing strikes and somebody that knows what to do with it.
Now one catches the outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
First strike. 2 balls and 1 strike on catcher Trent Euler.
Real opportunity here for the Thunder to continue to cut into this, what was a 3-run deficit. That'll put Euler on first. Bases loaded.
And we'll take first base. Loading the bases for the Norfolk Thunder.
It's really the first, I guess, really bad pitch we've seen out of Agnew.
Yeah, and unfortunately, young Mr. Agnew has made the pitches to get himself out of this inning. His defense has let him down a little bit, and now the pitch count starts to go up a little bit, and the ball looks like it's starting to fly a little. So we'll see if he can rein it in. He's certainly got a chance here. He's a contact pitcher. If he lets his defenders make a play for him again, I hope they can turn it for him because he's pitched well enough to be out of this inning.
Now Dylan Froberg at the plate. Froberg also from Norfolk.
I tell you, the velocity is, it seems pretty, like it's coming in there pretty good, but yet they're having a little trouble handling it. He throws a lot of strikes. It looks tantalizing. He nibbles on the corners a little bit with what he's got.
Foul ball.
Came in inside a little more on that one. Froberg just unable to connect. 2-1 here.
Dylan, you do not get a free walker.
Chases that one low. 2-2 count.
Levels us out at 2-2 to Dylan Froberg.
Froberg, of course, understanding the importance of this at-bat, wanting to get an RBI or two here.
I agree with you. This is the pitch right here. He doesn't want to go 3-2, and the defense should be on their toes because I think it's coming at them hot.
Ooh, that was close.
He might try to throw a little bit of a breaking ball there. We haven't seen a lot of them, but it looked like he was expecting that pitch to do just a little bit more. And he felt as if he might have hit the inside corner. I thought it was a little bit in.
Here comes the payoff pitch. Inside again, that'll...
Well, and again, you run into this situation where I mentioned it before. He's thrown a lot of good pitches in this inning, and he's had some opportunities to get some outs out there. They left some outs out on the field, and now the runners are starting to come in. So the same situation that the Northeast team found themselves in the first inning, now the Colts find themselves in here in the second inning.
So that was Connor Hoffman who came around to score. Kevin Ramos now at the plate. Actually, excuse me, that's Dylan Johnson. Bases loaded here, one down.
Count 1-1 on Dylan Johnson.
And he takes that one off the side and brings in another run. Colligan scores. And just like that, we're tied.
That's one of the problems with Mr. Agnew. He doesn't throw real hard, so he doesn't exactly intimidate the hitter standing up on the plate like that. And that's the second kid in a row that ball coming right at him, didn't bother to get out of the way, just moved into it and took the base. I promise you, some of these guys in the big leagues throwing 95, 98, they would probably not get the same response from the hitters. But the kids know how to take a pitch. They know what they're looking for. So, again, just their baseball IQ has expanded a little bit, and that's what's going on here.
So Steve Fish takes a visit to the mound. Looks like Agnew's going to stay out there. Continue to battle. Just one down here in the bottom of the second. 3-3 your score on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard. Now Kevin Ramos is at the plate.
Up to bat for Norfolk Thunder, Kevin Ramos.
There's a first pitch strike.
Well, there's a lot of room out there for the first left-hander that we've seen, so I think we'll see if he can put the ball in play and make it happen here.
Got a piece of that one.
Chased a ball that was a little bit up, and I'm sure Christian Agnew with that stuff wants to make sure that he keeps the ball down in the zone, because you get it up in the zone a little bit, and those hitters, it gets a lot bigger. Makes it a lot easier to put the ball in play.
And it's in play here. And he beats it out. Everyone's safe. Another run comes across, and the Northeast Thunder has its first lead.
Boy, I hate to beat this drum, but it just seems like exactly what Coach Fish thought was his worry with his team was when runners on base not knowing what to do with the baseball. And that, it seems like just the hesitation. It looked like the shortstop wanted to go to second base, which would have been the easy way. The second baseman was not there. That hesitation cost him to throw the ball across the diamond, and the runner beat it out. Mr. Agnew has made great pitches. That's probably the fifth out of the inning, if I'm not mistaken. So just keep throwing the ball to the plate, young man. Good things are going to happen here.
Now Travis Emery, another extra hitter here for the Northeast Thunder. All four of their runs so far coming in this inning.
Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes to Travis Emery.
So 2 lefties here at the bottom of the lineup. Pass ball, and another runner comes across. This time it's Froberg.
Dylan Froberg scores on a pass ball.
Well, it looks like the wheels are falling off a little bit here for the WBS Colts. And again, I can't emphasize enough, this is a long game. I'm sure at the 3-0 mark, young Dylan Froberg couldn't get an out. He threw 3 base and ball and a hit batsman, and now he's off the hook. So this is a strange game, and it's a game of trends. It's a game of momentum. So certainly the momentum seems to be on the Thunder side at this point. Many at-bats to go, many outs to be made out there, so there's going to be a lot more opportunity, I might add.
Travis Emery, Pierce product at the plate. And there is a rope, and that'll score at least one. Sending them around, and a 2-run double for Emery.
Well, it was bound to happen. You know, they had been kind of chipping away, and I think the Colts were playing with fire there, and finally somebody come in and put the ball in play hard, and well done.
Advances runners, aggressively runs to second. Brings up Carter Raymaker.
And bad news for Agnew, now it's to the top of the order.
You know, as well as the coaching staff for the Colts, they have to decide. I mean, the kid's not pitching bad, but he certainly has thrown a lot of pitches this inning, and it's starting to show a little bit, starting to wear on him a little bit. And I'm sure mentally and physically out there, we're not much more I think he can do, and just hoping for a break here, hoping for the ball to be hit at somebody, regardless of how hard it is, hit it at somebody. But it certainly looks like he's still got his head high and his shoulders up, but it looks like he's starting to throw the pitches now, kind of missing the strike zone a little bit more than he was earlier.
That one right at the shortstop. Good stretch for the 6-3 put out Kobe Chesterton.
See a little bit of indecision there on the base running side that time. I know the defense has been a little hesitant to make the play, but I know the middle infield was back and the ball was hit on the ground, and it wasn't hit that hard. I think if the kid on third base would have taken a better lead there, the ball put in play, it would have been an easy score. There would have been no way to get him. The ball bounced probably 20 times before it got to the shortstop. So well done on the shortstop for getting an out there, but I think that was a run that the Thunder left on the table there by just not executing good base running on contact there with the infield back.
We'll see if that comes back to bite the Thunder if they're able to get Emery across the plate this inning. We'll see here. Defense is going to have to make a play, and they do. So the Colts get out of the inning, but not before. There's 7 runs on 3 hits, 1 error and 1 left on base. Northeast Thunder have a 7-3 lead as we head to the 3rd.
Wind energy means opportunity. Did you know that a local wind energy project would usher in millions of new tax dollars to the county and school taxing districts, and increased funds allow schools to invest in quality education programs, technology, facility development, and even renovations? Funds can be used as needed to improve our schools and the learning environment for our children. To learn more about how wind energy is good for Northeast Nebraska schools, email haystack@tradewindenergy.com. Sponsored by Tradewind Energy.
Need high-speed internet? Want the best in TV programming? There's no need to make countless calls to 1-800 numbers to get the services you want. Get both TV and internet with just one call to me, Wes, at Satellite Central. Everyone's needs are different, and we can help you find the best option for high-speed internet. And we've been providing TV programming from Dish and DirecTV for over 20 years. We have a local team of installers that you know and can trust. So make one call to us at Satellite Central.
At Shop Easy, we like to make all ages smile. From farmers to truckers to Shop Easy future customers. We make sure we have a large selection of food, snacks, beverages, and incidentals to make your break in your day convenient and courteous. With easy parking 24/7. We can accommodate the night shift, the early morning workers, fishermen, and travelers. Shop Easy south of Yankton is owned and operated by the Santee Sioux Nation.
I'm Angie Smetny. I'm a family nurse practitioner at Faith Regional Physician Services Family Medicine in Norfolk. It's becoming more and more important to focus on preventative medicine, and that's why primary care, which is what we do in family medicine, is so important, because we want to try to prevent things like a heart attack and a stroke and diabetes and things like that through testing, whether it be lab results or just checking your blood pressure once a year, to make sure that we don't need to do more for you to help prevent certain things from happening. I know what it's like to be a busy mom and a busy working mom. I'm always willing to work with people, especially in the rural agricultural community with farmers. I know that they're not going to want to be seen in April and September and October when their schedules are the busiest, and I'm always willing to work with that and move things around so that they're getting seen in a timely manner when it works for them, and also when we need to see them to keep them healthy.
Brandon Axamit, Saul Soltero with you here for this youth baseball doubleheader between the Northeast Thunder and the World Baseball Showcase Colts. The Thunder get 7 in the bottom of the second to now hold a 4-run advantage. And we start things off with a hit by pitch. Kobe Chesterton will take his bag.
Looks like we have a new pitcher for the Northeast Club. It looks like C.J. Hoffman, right-hander. Let the first one go, and he squared him up right in the back there. So maybe a little bit of nerves for young C.J., but he'll get over it.
So C.J. was at third. We'll have to see if it was a like-for-like switch as we have this one fouled straight back.
Foul ball. 0-1 to Ben.
Now Ben Walmsley at the plate. He was also walked his first at bat. Hoffman picks over to first.
Norfolk has a new pitcher in, Connor Hoffman.
Picks over again.
2 plays at first, 2 safe.
So Dylan Froberg, who started off on the mound, is now on third. One ball, one strike here to Walmsley. Catches the inside corner.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
And again, had that breaking ball on the inside, rings up Walmsley.
On the inside pitch. Strike 3 for the first out.
It's a good pitch. He hadn't shown him anything that looked anything like that, and he kind of broke one off. But it didn't break a ton, but it certainly cut the inside corner there, according to the umpire. So big out there after the leadoff hit batsman.
Gavin Clemert. He went down looking his first at bat.
Gavin Clemert. Ball.
And have a stolen base. Won't even be a throw, but that was quite a lead and quite a jump there by Chesterton. I don't think he would have been caught.
I agree, and it looked like he got such a good jump that it rattled CJ a little bit on the mound there. He threw that ball directly into the dirt, and I don't think that was his intention, obviously. But you got a good contact guy up here. Let's see what Mr. Clenert can do with the baseball, the man in scoring position.
I'll make it 3-0.
To 3 balls and no strikes.
You turn him loose here, Coach? You let the bat fly in a 7-3 game early in the night here?
Well, I'm always going to say give him the green light, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the right advice.
I agree with you. As long as he doesn't hit into an out, he's got the green light. Right. So, yeah, hindsight is always 20/20 right there.
Well, he exercised restraint there and made the right choice. Gets a free base on balls.
Kia Bathgate.
Zakiah Bathgate back to the plate. He grabbed the first hit of the game in the top of the first with an RBI single. Good cut there.
Looked like he really turned the bat loose there. Thought he was going to get a nice piece of it. Looked like he was just a little ahead of the ball. CJ's ahead 0-2.
And this time paints the outside corner for his second strikeout.
Well, I guess that's what you would call moving the ball in, moving it out, expanding the plate a little bit. And you'll notice a lot of these amateur umpires, if you're around the plate a lot, that plate will expand a little bit, and you'll get the corners a little bit more. So certainly around the plate there, and that was a big strikeout for the second out.
Got an opinion on the potential computer or robot umps?
You know, I think the human element is what makes this game so great, and the human element of error is also part of it. You certainly don't want to take anything away from the players. But I think it's a bit ridiculous to think that you're going to have a computer call the plays. And I had a couple of buddies ask me about the same, and I said, well, who are you going to complain to if you don't like the call, you know? And I think it happened in that Atlantic League where the kid squared around a bunt, and the ball was literally over his head, and the umpire or the computer called it a strike, and that was the problem. They didn't even know who to protest to, and it was clearly a ball, maybe by over a foot. And again, how do you combat this? What's your intention? I mean, you want to speed the game up? I mean, you want to save money on the $12 you're paying the ump or whatever? I don't understand it. So, no, to answer your question clearly, I'm against it.
Nice hit up the middle. And no runs will score, so play at second, keeps it at 7-3. No runs, no hits, 2 left on base. We head to the bottom of the third.
At Norfolk Auto Center, they work hard to give their customers the best value around. Plus, they offer a 5-day money-back on any vehicle priced over $5,000 and a 30-day exchange period on any pre-owned vehicle over $5,000, so you can buy with confidence. Call or stop in today. They are conveniently located at 1123 South 20th Street in Norfolk, or shop them online at norfolkchevy.com.
My name is Michaela Small. I work at Faith Regional Physician Services at Humphrey Family Medicine, and I am a family nurse practitioner. My care philosophy ever since I started nursing, my favorite one has always been patients don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that really embodies who I am as a provider. I can treat your chronic conditions as well as your acute illnesses. I think it's a common misconception in rural medicine that we're only there for the acute stuff, but we're also there for the long term with all of your health conditions. I'm really excited to be a rural healthcare provider. I think that was my goal from the get-go. I love living in a small town, and so in order to make small town thrive, we need different services, and I am excited to be somebody to bring in the medical and healthcare service to the community which I live and work.
And your Smile Cam, brought to you by Family First Dental here on News Channel Nebraska, where your family comes first, and it shows in everything they do. Check them out, Family First Dental at familyfirstdental.com. Also, this youth baseball action on News Channel Nebraska brought to you by Midwest Bank, which is always ready to lend a hand in the communities that they serve. Log on to midwestbank.com to find out more. Brandon Axmit, Saul Soltero with you for all of the action here in Norfolk. We are now in the bottom of the third inning of the first game of our doubleheader between the Northeast Thunder and the World Baseball Showcase Colts. We do have a new pitcher on the mound, and that is Jaden Lee, who is playing center field, and he's just swapped positions with his buddy Christian Agnew, who again, Saul, had a great performance, just had a tough inning last inning because didn't get enough help from his buddies.
Yeah, he threw a lot of strikes. He was in the zone. He got some early out opportunities early in the inning, and then kind of the inning just kind of turned away from him a little bit, and he couldn't get back to it. But again, he didn't pitch bad. He just kind of left some outs out on the table there, and Northeast capitalized on him.
And that is a big hit there by Nate Decker. And a stand-up double. That was a shot.
I think that's Gracie Isles out there, and I'm not sure. The ball was right at her, and it stayed up in the air quite a bit. I think she might have either lost it in the blue sky or possibly in the sun, because it looked like she was there, and then it just kind of dropped next to her. But nonetheless, it's a double.
Gavin Gramquist takes that one. And he'll go to first.
Brings up the bat, Caleb Richardson.
Caleb Richardson now at the plate.
Well, I think the Colts have to stop the bleeding here at some point where they pitched a pretty flawless first inning or so, and then they really got themselves in trouble in the second, and here they are with nobody out, man on first and second in the third. He didn't step off. That should be a balk because he didn't throw it at first base there. I'm not sure why it's not. He twisted as opposed to step off, and there was nobody covering.
Huh. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'm surprised why it's not a balk right now.
Yeah, there's a few of these rules maybe we're not as familiar with. Maybe we should have read the book, wherever that book might be.
We're slackers.
Dad always talked about the book. He just never knew who wrote it.
That one in the dirt. Ball one.
I tell you, for a minute there, it looked like the scoreboard started to look like a long-distance phone number. There was a lot of crooked numbers going up, but looks like Northeast kind of settled the ship a little bit, putting up a 0 in the second and the third. Let's see if the Colts can do the same here in the bottom half.
Big cut there by Richardson. 1 ball, 1 strike. Richardson 0 for 1. He hit into a fielder's choice back in the second. High and inside again.
He's guiding the ball just a little bit. He's a little bit reluctant to turn it loose, and it's kind of showing because the ball's kind of staying up in the zone. It doesn't have that snappy end to it that he had in warm-ups. And again, he's pitching down in the count, which becomes dangerous.
There's another rip to deep left. This time, in and out of the glove. Gracie Isles. We're going to have a play at the plate here, sliding in safe. So we're all over the place right now, sliding into third safe. Runner now on second. A lot of action there, Saul.
Wow, it was almost like that entire sequence was in slow motion. I saw the ball go into Gracie's glove, then the next thing you know, you see it laying on the turf. The guy at first ran to second, and I'm telling you, he had the cement bag on. Decides to go to third on a throw home, and after all is said and done, everybody's safe.
So you see Decker, who slides into home to make it 8-3. Gramquist now on third. Richardson now on second. And you have C.J. Hoffman at the plate.
But again, it looks like the Northeast Thunder is kind of pushing the issue a little bit, causing the Colts to throw the ball around a little bit, causing them to make some plays, put themselves in the right position to make some plays, and so far they have not been able to do that.
No balls and 1 strike.
And 0-1 delivery finds the zone. They're making it 0-2.
Looks like Coach Fish has his infield in, which means that they're going to try to cut this run. So it's pretty early in an 8-3 game, but they're thinking these runs are going to be at a premium here late. So they got the infield in, trying to cut the run.
Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Connor Hoffman.
Hoffman 1 for 1 today. He singled in the second. Was one of 7 who came around to score that inning.
I guess this is part of Little League Baseball all over the country and probably all over the world, but isn't it kind of cool for Jeff Hoffman, the manager, to give this sign to his son with runners in scoring position?
Well, he puts it in play. And we have ourselves a rundown. And nicely executed there by the Colts. Clenert making the tag. And that was Chesterton. So this is really the first time that we saw the Colts properly execute something when things would go a little bit awry with base running.
That's a fact, and I'm sure that's not their intention. But again, the base runner's got to know the infield is in. The ball was hit relatively sharp. He's got to know that his limitations from a speed standpoint. So yeah, definitely good to see the Colts getting out there.
Big cut by Jacob Colligan, who is also 1 for 1 with the single.
It seems to me, and I could be wrong, but it looks like the shortstop of the Colts kind of drives the bus for that team, if you will. Kind of knows where to be, knows what to do with the baseball. He looks like a, prospect type kid out there. Baseball IQ, field presence, if you will.
They have him down for already making 5 outs. We're only in the bottom of the third. Another big rip, that one foul. Hey, Gracie Isles getting picked on a little bit this inning.
I just got to thinking about it, but it looks like Liam is pitching and Gracie's in left, and Gracie's had a couple of tough tries at some ball. I wonder if they're going to talk about it tonight at the hotel when Mom and Dad get done with dinner there. We're see what's going on. I'd like to be a fly on that wall.
That one gets past the catcher. As Liam Isles goes back to the mound.
On a pitch no ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out. To Jacob Colligan.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And also fouled out of play.
Reminder, Burger King, we thank you for your support. Every foul ball is a burger butt.
Runners on second and third. That one inside.
Pitch the inside. Brings the count full to 3 balls and 2 strikes on Jacob Colligan.
Payoff pitch in the dirt. And we're going home. And he's in there. Another run for the Thunder. Caleb Richardson slides in.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a good read. Caleb knew his speed there because that ball did not get all the way to the screen. The catcher made a nice play on the ball, but I have to admit, looking at a replay and looking down on it like we did with the angle we had, he was safe.
Up to bat for Norfolk Thunder.
Now runners on the corners. Trent Euler at the plate. He was hit by a pitch his first at bat.
Still only 1 out in the inning. So maybe get a double play ball here to get out of the inning, but I know Trent, the big strong kid, likes to drive the ball, so this is an interesting matchup.
High and inside.
I don't think he particularly wants to get hit again. I don't know if that's on anybody's agenda, but he's certainly a big enough kid, and he's not afraid of the baseball, so he's right on over the top of the plate.
Runners going. And what a throw. Right on the money, Gavilan Clenert. And he had the runner on third and Hoffman staying there. That's usually a situation where you at least want to force the throw and have the runner go.
You would think, that play took a little bit of time to develop, but yeah, it was a good throw, a good exchange, got rid of it quick, and yeah, you'd think maybe the third base guy would want to take a break at it, but he didn't. So that makes 2 outs, and that's a big out in this inning because they've already scored 2. They could leave that runner at third. That would mean a lot to get this game going here in a 9-3 game early.
Out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Trent Bueller.
Just missing inside. That was close.
You know, he's struggling a little bit in the inning, but it sure is nice to see Liam Isles get to work on the mound. He catches the ball, gets back to work. Doesn't take a lot of time between pitches.
Ends up walking Euler. Putting runners at the corners again. Dylan Froberg at the plate.
It's got to be a little bit frustrating for these pitchers now for the Colts to be throwing good pitches, getting some balls that possibly could be outs. And I think the only reason they're down 9-3 at this point is they've left a lot of outs out there by misplaying the baseball, throwing the ball around, or just flat out hesitancy to make a play. So certainly the score is 9-3, but they've left some outs out there. So only themselves to blame at this point, and there certainly is a lot of baseball left.
There's Rick fouled down the first base line. Yeah, you don't want to take anything away from the Thunder, but looking at the stats, statistically, they have 4 hits. So you have 9 runs on 4 hits. That's a pretty good ratio.
That's right. Sure, the Yankees or the Red Sox would take that in a minute, but that's one of the things, you know, the great teams, they do not beat themselves. They make you put the ball in play, and then the defense goes to work. So it's a combination of all of those things, and you certainly learn them at an early age, but it goes all the way up to the major leagues, and it's opportunity where the pitchers are throwing strikes. You know, the game is in check. The defenders are defending their spot, and it makes for a good baseball game.
Another stolen base attempt. Clenert was a good throw. Tag was unable to be put down, and so another runner comes across. This time Hoffman scores.
It looked like both times that Clenert threw the ball down, the ball beat the runner, but it looked like the second baseman was fielding the ball considerably in front of the base so that he had to reach back to get the runner, and I think the ball was going to be right on the bag, and so it would have been an easy tag.
There's a liner right up the middle. And this should score another one. Euler rounds third and will score easily.
Nice hard hit ball, and again, you know, opportunity knocks there, and pretty soon somebody's going to put the ball and play hard, and that's exactly what happened there. Nice solid base hit. Euler run the bases easy, and they get another run here for Northeast Thunder.
That is the hardest hit ball we've seen this evening, courtesy of Dylan Froberg. Now Dylan Johnson at the plate. There's another rip and knocked down. And we got some confusion here. And the throw is over the shortstop. So Froberg thought it was caught. It was 2 outs anyway, so had it been caught, it wouldn't have mattered, but he ended up going back to first.
Poor base running, to say the least. The ball's put in play. 2 outs on the play. I think Dylan got confused out there, possibly the base coach, but just lucky. The third baseman nearly made a great play on the ball. Ends up knocking it down. Still an out out there, and they couldn't get the third out there. So, again, left an out on the field.
Kevin Ramos at the plate.
Up the bat for Norfolk, Kevin Ramos.
Walked in the second. Reached first base on an error. This time he's going to get another base hit that loads the bases.
Christian Agnew, the new center fielder, was playing pretty shallow on that ball, and he made a nice play, came in hard on the baseball, and Coach Hoffman decided to stop Dylan at third base there. So kept the inning alive, and you certainly don't want to make the last out at home plate. So still got the bases loaded here.
And my apologies to Kevin Ramos. I was looking at the score sheet wrong. He had a RBI single his first at bat, so he's now 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Good production from the bottom of the order is now Travis Emery. Another extra hitter. He had a 2-run double his first at bat.
Well, you heard that old adage, you put the ball in play and good things are going to happen, and certainly Northeast is capitalizing on mixing in hard hits with soft hits, but they're putting the ball in play, and they're forcing the Colts to make plays, and so far the Colts have been not up to the task, but lots of baseball left. Let's see if they can turn it around a little bit.
1 ball, 2 strikes after that foul tip.
You know, the human errors are going to happen, and they happen at every level. Heck, you see the big league guys drop balls, but the Colts are well coached. They're in the proper position. They're at the point of execution where they should be. Now it's just the human element. They've got to learn how to execute those plays. And that'll just come with baseball. That'll come with baseball IQ. I know talking to Coach Fish earlier, he was just a little reserved on the way the speed of the game in the United States is a little different than the international play. And so far, that's what's showing.
Chance for the Colts to get out of the inning here. And they do just that with a 4-3 putout. Still, though, more runs added for the Northeast Thunder. 4 runs on 2 hits, 2 errors, 3 left on base. It's 11-3 as we head to the 4th.
Okay, that's it. Done. Stop. Partnership. It's more than a handshake in a farm field. These are cliches and conventions, and we're here to break them. We want to do the work that needs doing, to take on your challenges together. Let us help move your operation forward. We promise to be the partner you need, not the one you're used to. Honest.
I'm Dr. Tim Davey. I work at Norfolk Family Medicine with Faith Regional Physician Services in Norfolk, Nebraska. One of the things that I feel like my patients can expect from me is that I really will listen to them. I will pay attention to not only what their needs are, but to whatever degree they want, how they fit into the context of their family, which is also unique as well. So I really try to craft what I do to the patient and to their family the way an artisan would create something. My role is to collaborate with them, to help them understand the kinds of decisions that will make them healthy, that will make their families healthy. So there's a trust factor in that relationship that's very powerful in actually helping them to make good choices.
And welcome back here to Norfolk, getting a look at the Northeast Thunder dugout. Head coach Jeff Hoffman, Corey Granquist, Tom Sullivan, all a part of the coaching staff here for this Thunder team that Saul's feeling pretty good right now, 11-3 entering the 4th inning.
So far, so good. You know, I don't think they came into it. I know Dylan Froberg is a big arm for them. Dylan's got a good pedigree, and he's thrown better games. So I don't think they thought they were going to give up that 3 runs early, but they certainly did fight their way out of it and put up 11 runs in the next 2 or 3 innings there. So they're in a good place here, again, in these tournaments and these showcases. I think pitching is at a premium. Your kids are a little bit tired from the season being, you know, some of these kids haven't played in a couple of weeks, and so you don't want to extend them too far, certainly, so you got to keep an eye on the pitching. And I'm sure the international kids coming in from Australia there and Dubai and everywhere else, that they certainly don't want to tax their pitching as they're playing every day. So pitching is certainly at a premium in these games and starting to show just a little bit on the Colts side.
Looks like we now have another pitching change. Easton Sullivan looks like is on the mound for the Thunder.
Easton's a kid I know real well. He's got real nice mechanics, a real nice delivery. He's going to throw a lot of strikes. He's not overpowering by any means, but he litters the strike zone with balls, makes you decide. He moves the ball in and out a little bit, and certainly pitches to his strengths.
And it's Jacob Essick leading things off for the Colts. 0 for 1 today with a strikeout back in the 1st.
No balls and 2 strikes on Jacob Essick.
Ab Sullivan quickly getting ahead 0-2.
You know, the beauty of this game, and I think it's from an international standpoint or locally in northeast Nebraska, we could not be further from Perth, Australia, or Dubois, but all these kids are smiling. They're having a good time. I promise you, if they could end the night in the pool across the street, they would do it gladly as a group.
Hey, you know, don't rule it out. Maybe the pool will stay open for a midnight dip before they have to get back on the bus.
Brings up batter number 2, Gracie Isles.
Essink goes down. For out number 1, Gracie Isles back at the plate.
They strike out for Sullivan there, got the ball of the plate, got the leading lady. The first out is so important, and these teams have struggled a little bit to do that today, and there's a perfect example of how to get up in the count and get the first out of the inning, which is a big out. Miss Gracie doesn't seem to like that breaking ball much there. And who knows? She took a good look at it. Now let's see if he gives it to her again. She might just poke it to right field. She's certainly seen it.
Getting out of the way of that one. Quick on her feet. 2 balls, 1 strike.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Got a piece of that one.
What's your thoughts on having a female player on an all-boys team, all-men's team there? Do you have any thought on the matter?
Well, back in the day when I was a YMCA All-Star, back in 3rd grade, we had actually 2 girls on the team, and it was kind of fun to rally around and encourage them and have them play with you. And I'm in the same boat where, you know, why not? We're talking about girls getting the opportunity to play football now, and coaches in professional leagues, the NBA, and I say if you're learning the game, you have a passion to play, why not?
I agree with you, and I see her as developing, you know, her baseball mentality there, developing her baseball IQ, just like the boys are, and whether she's going to take it to the baseball field or the softball field or to the classroom or to the business world, I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, if she can hang in there, if she's willing to, you know, take what they're doing and throwing the ball to the plate and possibly hitting her with it or making some plays in the field, more power to her. I think it's great. I run a baseball league in Omaha, the Police Athletics for Community Engagement, and we've had over 3,000 kids come through the program the last 5 or 6 years, and the best player we've had there so far has been a girl, and she is dynamite. She's playing at the high school level now, and I wouldn't be surprised if she goes to college and plays, but probably obviously softball, but she is a player, and she hangs right with the boys, and I can honestly say if she's not the best player in the league, she's certainly one of the top 2 we've ever had. So really cool to see, and it doesn't matter to her. What she's doing, she's playing baseball, and that's important.
I'm going to say if the rules were a little bit different, you'd have to give her name to Steve Fish. You could start scouting her for the Red Sox.
That's right. No.
Ray goes to first base on the walk.
Ray draws a walk. Gets to first with 2 down, and that brings up Liam Isles.
Brings up Liam Isles.
Not confirmed, but I'm guessing brother of Gracie.
I would assume so.
That one outside in the dirt.
You know, you look at the odds of some of these kids, and certainly Coach Fish said that a lot of these kids would certainly like to come to the United States and play college baseball somewhere, junior college, 4-year school, Division I. I mean, who knows? But, you know, this is just a great experience. The odds of playing Division I baseball are very slim for the baseball kids. I don't have the actual numbers in front of me, but I have Googled them before, and it's not an easy track. And the odds of getting to pro ball are even smaller and less likely than that. So to get out here, to come so far across the country, to cross the pond, across the ocean, whatever you want to call it, to play baseball in the United States on a beautiful Monday night in northeast Nebraska, I just think it's great.
And that one foul down the line. You talk about, obviously, the benefits from a baseball standpoint, but just think of from kind of a life or milestone standpoint. These kids will be able to look back on the summer they came to America and played baseball for 17 days straight, got to see the whole country, which is, I mean, I've traveled to places, but I can't say that I've been on a road trip from Los Angeles all the way to New York, and I've lived here my whole life.
I can't even imagine how great it would be, the skill points, the life skill points.
What a snag there for Culligan to get out of the inning.
Out number 3.
So 3 outs, 11-3 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. We'll be back with more baseball on News Channel Nebraska.
Considering a suspension lift kit or leveling kit for your truck or Jeep? T.O. Haas Tire can help you rise above whatever lies across your path with lift kits by BDS and Zone, backed by the best warranties in the business. Our hardcore 4x4 division carries and installs lifts, lockers, winches, springs, shocks, everything you need to make your 4x4 stand out in a crowd. So go ahead and attack those trails and rivers with the help of T.O. Haas Tire.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, a tradition of trust.
Determination, hard work, patience, and persistence. These are characteristics that make a champion. These same characteristics make a great Nebraskan.
Midwest Bank proudly supports and congratulates the athletes that have accomplished the honor to compete in the state track meet.
We are also there for the Nebraskans that have fought the flood, cleaned up after the devastation, and answered the call when others were in need.
Communities coming together.
Athletes giving it all.
That is Nebraska strong.
You can always bank on Nebraskans.
At Cornhusker Nissan, bragging is not our style, but that doesn't mean our customers can't.
Everyone was friendly, no high pressure, was open to my needs as to what was really best for me.
Professional, kind, polite, altogether perfect.
Great customer care before and after the sale.
Great price and awesome car buying experience. Wish all dealerships treated customers like Cornhusker Nissan in Norfolk, Nebraska.
Let us make your visit a memorable one at Cornhusker Nissan.
And welcome back. This is how we got out of that last inning. We want to give credit where credit's due, and what a snag by Jacob Colligan there.
Carter Raymaker, Easton Sullivan, and Nate Decker.
Pretty nimble on his feet. Saul, was that you back in the day? Were you able
That was a great play. You know, he was expecting the baseball. The baseball came to him. He knew what to do with it. It was good to get out of that inning, too. And again, Northeast, after struggling early, has put up 3 zeros in a row there, and that's huge for a game like this because pitching is at a premium, as we mentioned before. So certainly if there's outs to be made, it's great to see the Northeast getting those outs.
Well, to lead things off, it's Carter Raymakers, top of the order for the Thunder.
Ball 2.
2 balls, no strikes.
1 ball, 1 strike. Continuing to pitch the inning for the WBS Colts is Liam Isles.
So Isles still on the mound. And that one outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Raymaker's actually searching for his first hit. Flew out to short in the first inning. Grounded out in the second inning.
1 strike to Carter Raymaker.
And he may get his first hit here and does. Gets it over Agnew in center. And they're going to hold him up at second for a stand-up double.
Well struck. I tell you what, the ball was hit hard. It looked like just a little bit of indecision by Christian Agnew in center field there, and the ball got over his head, and the ball was hit hard. Certainly the hardest hit we've seen tonight. So good base running. Ball was hit well, and ends up in a double. Leadoff double to start the inning.
Think he might have heard me? I don't think he liked that 0-2 stat too well.
You might be right.
First pitch goes ball on Easton Sullivan.
Well, Easton Sullivan, you're also 0 for 2. Let's see what does for him. Runner on second.
Looks like they're leaving a lot of room on the right side of the infield. The second baseman is hugging that bag pretty good, and they're not covering that hole. Let's see if young Easton might pick up on that and try to drive the ball the other way.
1 ball, 1 strike. And how about that? Base knock for Easton Sullivan. Putting him at 1 for 3. That puts Raymakers back on third.
Puts runners on first and third and brings up Nate Decker for the Norfolk Thunder.
Nate Decker, his last at bat was a double.
I think the Northeast Thunder is starting to put together quite the offensive resume to the man there. Is there still anybody that has not got a hit out there for them? I know they've collected quite a few hits. Well, they've only got 8 hits on the 11 runs, so I guess I could be wrong. It just seems like more guys are hitting, but maybe there's been some fielder's choice and some errors made out there. But they certainly have made the most of those 8 hits to put 11 runs on the board here. Got first and third with nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th, so certainly making the best of what they've been doing.
This one put in play, chance for a double play. There's the flip. And nice job by Decker to leg it out. Raymakers does come across to score.
Good base running by Mr. Raymakers there. He immediately broke from third base. He saw that the defenders were back, and he would have scored easily on the play.
Gavin Gramquist, 1 for 1, was hit by a pitch in the 3rd, singled back in the 2nd. Another one at the shortstop. He charges it. Throw not quite on the money. Here's extra bases. We have Sullivan all the way home from first.
You know, I noticed early on how much room this field has, and I think you can probably see it from our perch up here, but there's so much room down the lines. And that'll happen. That ball was basically should have been caught. It wasn't that bad of a throw. Ball gets by the first baseman, and then all of a sudden the ball ends up 40, 50 yards away from where it started. So, like you said, he scored from first base relatively easily. There's so much room on this field.
And my apologies, I said Sullivan scored. It was actually Decker who came around from first. There's another rip up the middle, and that one through Chesterton's legs.
But here we go again, just the failure to execute. The Colts kids are in the right place. They're making the right baseball moves. They just can't seem to make the play on the ball, and it's certainly at this point starting to cost them as the Thunder are starting to pull away a little bit.
Connor Hoffman now at the plate. Stolen base. Richardson on second. I was going to say that. Clemert, he has a good arm.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He's got a good arm. He's got a nice quick release. Again, there's, second baseman probably has to find a way to knock that down. If there would have been better speed on third base, that would have cost him another run there.
Foul ball brings the count to 0-2 on Norfolk's Connor Hoffman.
0-2 count here to Hoffman. That one in the dirt.
I had an opportunity to play as a ball player for Coach Dave Bingham. Coach Bingham was a Hall of Fame coach at Emporia State. They went on to Nebraska. He was actually in the Kansas Hall of Fame for taking KU to the College World Series. But Coach Bingham used to say that there's no such thing as a bad throw. And it's hard to understand or explain exactly what that means, but his point was you have to catch the baseball. You have to stop it. If it's short, go get it. If it's over your head, get back. If it's to the side, move your feet. But he said there's no such thing as a bad throw. Now, you got to get on the guy that threw it like that, but you have to figure out a way to knock the baseball down. And I'll remember that. It resonated with me for all of my coaching life because I always felt like there's got to be some way to catch the baseball. You got that glove on, go find the baseball and stop it.
Well, here's a fly to short right field, and it's caught. You have a tag from third. As Gramquist slides home.
Scores on the sacrifice fly by Connor. Out number 2.
Well, I didn't think there was any way that that Lindquist would be able to score from third on the ball. Was barely past the dirt there, but I think there's a bit of hesitation by the right fielder, and he ended up relaying it to the second baseman for the throw home, which that little bit of hesitation, of course, the relay cost them another run here. So, again, Isles is doing a good job. He's getting outs. He's pitching to contact here. Got 2 outs. Let's see if he can get out of the inning, leave the runner at third base there.
Fouled out of play, strike 1. Jacob Colligan at the plate. He is 1 for 1. Singled in the second, walked in the third. This time fouls it down the other baseline.
Nice to see Northeast staying aggressive, looking for their pitch, looking to drive the baseball. You do a lot of scoreboard watching at this age because at any given time you can put up a 7-run inning, as they could attest to already in the second inning there. So no lead is safe for this aluminum bat era where the pitcher's throwing strikes.
That was about 6 inches on the wrong side of the bag.
The umpire do a little hokey pokey there. I'm not sure, but I don't think it caught him, but he sure thought it might. Got a little chuckle there from the other umpires.
0-2. 2 down. Another one to shallow right. This one drops in there. And another run comes across on Richardson. The Thunder are pouring it on.
In there for Jacob Colligan. Run scores. Brings up Norfolk's Trent Euler.
Putting the ball in play. Good things to happen. They're putting the ball in play, hitting it where it's pitched.
Euler pops this one up. Colts will get out of the inning.
First baseman.
But not before more runs come across. 4 runs scored on 3 hits, 2 errors, 1 left on base. Northeast Thunder lead 15-3.
With the challenges our nation faces as the consumption of gasoline increases, the strategic location of Husker Ag allows this ethanol plant to produce nearly 80 million gallons a year, which requires almost 30 bushels of corn a year. Access to rail distribution and centered in a productive growing area east of Plainview on Highway 20, Husker Ag creates jobs, has on-farm pickup of corn, and supports area schools and organizations. Husker Ag LLC, helping communities grow and proud to be part of Nebraska's production of ethanol.
Determination, hard work, patience, and persistence. These are characteristics that make a champion. These same characteristics make a great Nebraskan.
Midwest Bank proudly supports and congratulates the athletes that have accomplished the honor to compete in the state track meet.
We are also there for the Nebraskans that have fought the flood, cleaned up after the devastation, and answered the call when others were in need.
Communities coming together.
Athletes giving it all.
That is Nebraska strong.
You can always bank on Nebraskans.
Need high-speed internet? Want the best in TV programming? There's no need to make countless calls to 1-800 numbers to get the services you want. Get both TV and internet with just one call to me, Wes, at Satellite Central. Everyone's needs are different, and we can help you find the best option for high-speed internet. And we've been providing TV programming from Dish and DirecTV for over 20 years. We have a local team of installers that you know and can trust. So make one call to us at Satellite Central.
Nebraska is prime country for farming corn, beans, and now wind energy. For landowners interested in hosting a wind turbine, this doesn't mean giving up a lot of land. A wind turbine and its access drive will only occupy about 1/2 of an acre, leaving the rest of the land usable for world-class Northeast Nebraska farming. That half-acre used to harvest the wind will also help educate school children and improve area roads with additional tax revenue. To learn more, email haystack@tradewindenergy.com. Sponsored by Tradewind Energy.
Need high-speed internet? Want the best in TV programming? There's no need to make countless calls to 1-800 numbers to get the services you want. Get both TV and internet with just one call to me, Wes, at Satellite Central. Everyone's needs are different, and we can help you find the best option for high-speed internet. And we've been providing TV programming from Dish and DirecTV for over 20 years. We have a local team of installers that you know and can trust. So make one call to us at Satellite Central.
(15-3), the Northeast Thunder lead the World Baseball Showcase Colts here in the first game of a doubleheader. Brandon Axelmit, Saul Soltero with you for all of the action. We have the 14-year-old game coming up in a few moments as well. I think we'll play one more inning here because the 14-year-old game is scheduled to start at 8. We have another new pitcher on the mound, Trent Euler, and Saul, this is somebody that you're speaking pretty highly about.
I tell you, this kid can really run it up there. He's got a real nice delivery, throws the ball hard. It could be trouble for the Colts here, but they're going to get something nice and firm to hit. So they're patient enough. They pick out a good strike. It's going to go.
Back to the top of the lineup, Jaden Lee leading things off here in the top of the 5th. And Euler gets the corner on that one, 1-1 count.
I don't know if the Northeast pitchers have been lucky, good, or a combination of both, but they've kind of nibbled away on that outside corner. I think for the most part, the umpire has given them the call, so they've really pitched up in the count on that marginal outside strike there, but it's nice to see them getting that pitch.
Now 3-1. Comes back for a strike to force a full count here.
Pitch is a strike, brings the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The batter Lee.
And rings him up.
Strike 3.
1 batter, 1 strikeout for Trent Euler.
Up to bat, Christian Agnew. We'd like to thank our sponsors for the 5th inning. Clausen Brother Construction and Hespe Company
Christian Agnew at the plate. 0 for 1. Was hit by a pitch in the first, came around to score. Again, that's when it looked like the Thunder were going to be in a little bit of trouble. Colts got out on top 3-0, but
first pitch is strike.
Unfortunately for the Colts, they haven't scored since that inning.
I agree with you. I thought they were going to put up some numbers. They looked patient at the plate. I know young Dylan Froberg was struggling to throw strikes, but since then they really haven't shown anything offensively. They've struggled a little bit to pull the ball in play and made some mistakes on the paths as well as in the field. So that 3 in the first inning kind of was a little bit misleading because they've certainly been shut down by the Thunder pitching since.
Agnew staying alive there.
Fouled off.
0-2 count.
No balls and 2 strikes on Agnew.
That one high and inside, ball 1.
1 ball and 2 strikes. The WBS is Colts Agnew.
Right up the middle, snagged by Euler. What a play by the pitcher.
Play from the pitcher to first base for out number 2.
So are we playing a run rule on this, the WS, and all, what type of rules are we playing on this? I'm not familiar with it, but I know at 15-3 in the 5th would probably be a run rule on the USSSA side of baseball. I'm not exactly sure what we're doing here. And certainly it's an exhibition, so I'm not sure anybody really cares, but just curious as to how far we might go with this one, with the score staying the same.
We have that working against you, and it's 7:47 right now, and I do know that the 14-year-old game is scheduled to start at 8. So we'll get the official word from our buddies on the other side of the press box after this half inning.
The brain trust, the ones that actually know what's going on here.
Because that's not us. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kobe Chesterton at the plate. This one's going to stay in play.
Wow. I think that ball hit foul on the foul side of the line, spun back, and it took 2 wicked hops before the out was made.
Kobe Chesterton for out number 3.
All the outs count the same.
It looks like that's it. The umpires are saying game over, so it looks like that's a wrap.
Looks like that's a wrap for our first game of the night.
Well, there you have it. The Northeast Thunder taking down their international foes 15-3 here in a 13 and under game. Again, stay with us. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the top plays from this game, and we'll get ready for the 14-year-olds when we return on News Channel Nebraska.
Getting ready for another edition of Friday Night Football here, another high school game in the area. So it's time to talk to somebody who knows a thing or two about injuries and seeing injuries. We're talking to Jenny Ashoff, certified athletic trainer with Faith Regional Health Services. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
You betcha. Now, sprains and strains used interchangeably to describe everything from a twisted ankle to a pulled hamstring. What are some of those very two specific injuries? How do we differentiate?
A sprain is a tear or stretch or tear of a ligament, and ligament is a fibrous tissue that connects a bone to a bone in our bodies, especially in our joints. And a strain is a stretch or tear, but it's more specific to a muscle or a tendon, and tendons are what attach our muscles to our bones.
What exactly are some of the symptoms of a strain? How does that happen?
Again, the strain, is a stretch or pull of a muscle. So we see that a lot in sports with athletes, especially with contact sports or quick repetitive sports where they're doing a lot of the same actions over and over again. Their muscles get fatigued or they're overstretched or exerted, which can cause that strain to happen in that muscle.
So when we're talking about those specific injuries, what are some of the symptoms that pop up? If you just have maybe a little pain somewhere, maybe you see some swelling or some other kind of symptoms, what are those exactly?
As you mentioned, pain and swelling are, the more common injury or more common symptoms that we hear. But we also, one of the biggest ones we hear, or that we even ask people, did you hear a pop? Or they might even say, I felt a pop.
Certainly. So if you don't always hear a pop or you hear, something else that maybe goes wrong, when should you see a doctor or a healthcare professional?
First and foremost, no injury is ever the same. Someone might have done the same thing, but from injury to injury or even time to time, it's going to differ as far as their symptoms. I've seen athletes before that have sprained an ankle numerous times throughout the season, and each time they've been completely different because it depends on the mechanism of that injury and what areas of the area were injured. So basically, they can be treated at home with the rest, ice, compression, and elevation. But you should definitely seek a physician if you're experiencing any numbness or tingling, an increase of soreness or swelling when the injury initially happened, pain with walking or unable to put weight through it because this causes significant pain. We'd want to definitely rule out a fracture or anything that would require further imaging or possible therapy to repair that injury.
Well, let's hope we keep the sprains and strains limited for tonight's game. Jenny Ashaw, Certified Athletic Trainer with Faith Regional Health Services. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And welcome back here to Memorial Field in Norfolk, Nebraska, wrapping things up from the first game of our doubleheader between the Northeast Thunder and the WBS Colts. Final score, Northeast Thunder 15, the Colts 3. So have our second game getting ready to come up as well. So we're going to take a look at our top plays from this contest. 13-year-old baseball game in Norfolk, the Northeast Thunder taking on the World Baseball Showcase Colts. And starting things off in the second inning, you have a double by the Colts. Big hit by Liam Isles. After the first inning, the World Baseball Showcase Colts were up 3-0. And it looked like the Northeast Thunder might be in trouble, but some things would change here. It's a 2 RBI single by Kevin Ramos. This in the second inning, where the Thunder really laid it on. They actually ended up scoring 7 in the second inning. After that double, you had a follow-up RBI single as well, bringing more runners home, and then base running, something that was also very impressive for the Northeast Thunder. Pass ball allows another runner to come across and score, and Dylan Froberg. Finally, though, after 7 runs are scored, Colts are able to get out of it. Kobe Chesterton with the throw, so it's 7-3 after 2 innings of play. Then you have a bomb hit to left field. Nate Decker leading things off in the top of the third for the Thunder, and things got wild here. Everyone's running around. You have people sliding into home safely. Runner goes to third. This was probably the wildest play of the game, but the point is that the Northeast Thunder played much more runs, 4 more runs in that third inning to make it 12-3, and the Thunder end up going on to win 15-3 in the 13 and unders. I'm Brandon Axman. Those are your top plays. Well, we'll take another break now. Both teams getting ready to go for the 14 and under game. We'll get ready for that as well shortly on News Channel Nebraska.